Now, from Toledo's news leader, this is WTOL 11 News at 5.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I'm Jerry Anderson.
And I'm Melissa Andrews. Emily Voss is on assignment for us tonight. All eyes are on Michigan right now. The Republican presidential candidates are in the Motor City for a Fox News debate.
Now, that's later on tonight. Earlier, we caught up with Governor Kasich to see what he had to say about going head-to-head with Trump here in Ohio.
But let's start our team coverage now with Viviana Hurtado live inside Hockeytown, which is the media headquarters. Viviana?
That's right. We're just right across the street from the Fox Theater, which is where the Fox News Channel debate is going to be. It's going to be a really important debate because it's the first one after Super Tuesday and right before Michigan and Ohio primary. We are joined by Aaron Call. He is the director of debate at the University of Michigan. So what can we expect tonight?
I think a lot of fireworks. As you mentioned, the stakes are very high. The voting starts on Tuesday, and this is maybe the candidate's last opportunity to try to stop Trump's momentum and have him be the nominee for the Republican Party.
And speaking of Super Tuesday, we know that Donald Trump had a really good night. Cruz picked up 3. Rubio finally got a win. What are going to be the strategies for Cruz and Rubio to stay in the game?
In the last debate, you saw an alliance between the two of them at four, and both trying to attract Trump from all different angles. And tonight, Governor Kasich may join that and really, through the combination of the crowd and the moderators, throw the kitchen sink and try their best to stop this momentum.
We've seen that the debates have gotten a lot more raucous. Do you expect more of that? And is that something that turns off voters?
It has the potential to, although the ratings of the last debate were good, about 15 million people. And so Trump's an entertainer, knows the media very well. And so people may not like to admit it, but sometimes that attracts the eyes, which could only help turn out voters.
Aaron Call is the director of debate at the University of Michigan. We're going to have a lot more coverage at 5:30, at 6, at 6:30, and also on WTOL 11 News on Fox 36 at 10 and back at 11. Reporting live at the Hockeytown Cafe in Detroit, Michigan, I'm Viviana Hurtado. Back to you.
Thanks, Viviana. Our Emily Voss has spent several days the last few months on the campaign trail with Governor Kasich, including time on his bus in New Hampshire. She was in Detroit with him again today ahead of tonight's debate and continues our team coverage tonight.
That's right. We were with Governor John Kasich here in downtown Detroit a couple hours ago. He met with a room full of media. We were the only Toledo TV station as he fielded questions about what's next.
But at the end of the day in all this, it is going to get down to a couple states. And Ohio is going to be absolutely critical. And we will go all out, and I will win Ohio.
Governor Kasich sounding confident in an overflowing meeting room filled with reporters and photographers. The governor even commenting on how things have changed, saying the media basically ignored him until his win in New Hampshire. The governor spent about 15 minutes giving a short speech and then only answering a handful of questions. I asked the governor about the latest Quinnipiac poll that puts Trump ahead of Kasich in Ohio by 5 percentage points.
I go head-to-head with Donald Trump in Ohio. I win by 18. So we'll see how this all moves, but we are going to do all out to win Ohio. I'm going to do everything that I can do, and our folks will do everything we can do to win. And as you all know, I don't make predictions, but I'm going to make a prediction. I am going to win Ohio. Plain and simple.
Governor Kasich also said you don't beat Trump with personal attacks.
I believe that over time, people will have a chance to hear things. And if I win Ohio, he's not going to be the nominee. I mean, we're going to go to the convention. I'm going to be the nominee. Because I don't know whether you noticed or not, it's being held in Ohio.
But before Ohio, Kasich has to get through Michigan, where he is currently polling last. But he is looking to change that with a string of town hall meetings and a little humor.
And I would never have talked Urban Meyer into laying down on that Michigan State game if this state didn't matter to me, because it does.
Governor Kasich is spending more time in Michigan ahead of next Tuesday's primary than any other candidate, and then you can bet he'll swing his focus to Ohio. Reporting tonight in the Motor City, I'm Emily Voss.
Now, former presidential candidate Mitt Romney delivered a speech in Utah today with one goal in mind: stopping Donald Trump from winning the Republican presidential nomination.
There's plenty of evidence that Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake. Mr. Trump has changed his positions not just over the years, but over the course of the campaign. And
Mr. Romney went on to say a Trump nomination would be disastrous for the country and for the Republican Party.
A person so untrustworthy and dishonest as Hillary Clinton must not become president. Of course, a Trump nomination enables her victory.
Now, Trump actually endorsed Romney back in 2012, but now says he regrets it, saying Romney ran one of the worst campaigns in presidential history. Trump says that election should have been won by the Republicans. He went on to call that campaign a catastrophe.
And speaking of Donald Trump, after tonight's debate, he'll be headed to Warren, Michigan to speak at Macomb Community College. He hopes to gain support in the state before the primary there next week. Remember, you can always get the latest Campaign 2016 news on our news app or WTOL.com. All you have to do is click the Campaign 2016 tab.
Well, last night we heard Robert describe today's weather, just perfectly light snow for hours and hours, but really not much accumulation.
Yeah, Robert, you guys all nailed it. How's it looking into tonight?
I think the light snow out there, thank you, by the way, is going to continue through the midnight hour, maybe until about 2 o'clock in the morning, but it shouldn't pick up in intensity any at all. Here's our Seagate downtown cam time lapse. There's the snow that we've had through the afternoon, and it is still snowing out across the Maumee River at this time. Here is a look at it on our first alert Doppler, and you can see if we look west of here, the trailing edge of the snow is all the way back across Indiana. So it is going to continue to snow for hours. And yes, as the sun sets and it gets a little bit colder, there's going to be some snow that's able to accumulate out there, but it should remain less than an inch here in the Toledo area. 31 degrees will be our temperature at 7 p.m. By 11 o'clock down to 27, and of course the snow ends on toward the midnight hour. We'll look at the weekend and a big warm-up next week coming up in my 7-day forecast.
All right, now there is enough stuff going on out there weather-wise. First of all, we want you to know that the Toledo Police Department is operating under a Phase 2, which means if you get into an accident out there on the roads today, they're not responding unless there is an injury involved. Just exchange the information and take it to the police department later on. Now some breaking news just into our newsroom. A major drug bust in North Toledo this morning. Toledo Police, the FBI, the DEA raided 4 different locations, seizing guns, some 8 of them, and more than $200,000 worth of narcotics. They arrested Ricky Thompson. He's currently being held at the Lucas County Jail on a federal warrant from Tennessee. He's expected to be charged in connection to today's seizures.
A truck driver involved in a deadly crash has been indicted by a Wood County grand jury. Martin Gronka is facing a charge of involuntary manslaughter. Police say he hit the back of another truck that ended up crashing into a car Stephen Plotner was driving. Plotner, the former mayor of Marblehead, was killed.
Well, she was described as a feisty and giving grandmother, but it was her desire to help others that may have led to her death. Today, Toledo Police Department's cold case unit reopened the 2001 murder of Betty Jagodzinski. Michelle Zepeda fills us in on what detectives want you to know about that case.
A mother of 5 and grandmother, Betty Jagodzinski was 77 when she was murdered inside of her home here on Bronson.
This case resonated through our community back in March of 2001. It's one that hit home with a lot of people.
Detectives have exhausted all leads in this case, but say there was only a 15-minute window when the crime could have happened.
It's such a small window of when she could have been attacked.
March 6, 2001, Betty clocked out at 12:46 p.m. after a shift at the West Alexis McDonald's where she worked. After getting back to her home, she spoke with a friend over the phone and made plans for later that day. That phone call ended at 1:16.
Then between 1:30 and 1:45 that day, friends came to visit Betty. When they showed up, they realized that the front door was unlocked. They found Betty at the bottom of the steps inside.
Betty passed away from her injuries later that day. The coroner says she died from multiple blows to her head. Police say there were signs of a struggle, and family discovered Betty's purse and wallet were missing. Family, like investigators, want answers and an end to not knowing what happened to Betty.
I just like the person to come forward and just admit to what they did and give us closure. The family needs closure.
That was Michelle Zepeda reporting that Toledo Police want to hear from you if you know anything about the murder of Betty Jagodzinski. They stress that you can remain anonymous. You can call Crime Stopper 419-255-1111. The man accused of aggravated arson in the Janelle Noe case will face a judge once again tomorrow. He was arrested in Michigan and is set to be brought back to Toledo for his court appearance. Police say back in January, Housel poured alcohol onto an open flame at a party which ended up burning more than half of Janelle Noe's body.
Police in Cincinnati say a 3-week-old baby who was inside of a car that was being stolen has been found safe. The search lasted 2 hours. Police are not saying how the baby was found. The stolen car was found after the suspects crashed into a tree. Police say 4 people are now in custody. The village of Woodville is one of many communities that is fighting the heroin epidemic. One way they're fighting is by bringing awareness to the problem. Stephen Jackson explains how they're trying to do it.
The heroin problem in Woodville is on the rise. That's why they're hosting a forum to bring awareness to the problem. There are 2,000 residents in the village, and in 2012, the police department didn't handle a single opiate case. However, between 2013 and 2015, that number rose to 51 arrests due to opiates, which is considered a gateway to heroin. There was a fatal overdose in the village last year, and now the mayor and other village officials are asking the public to attend a town hall meeting in order to help find a solution to the problem.
We're going to talk about the awareness, what it means to be an addict and what it does to a family, what it does to a community, and what it does to the person itself.
Sandusky County has pulled together to start a drug task force with the hopes of putting a stop to this issue. In Woodville, I'm Stephen Jackson, WTOL 11.
The village will be holding a town hall meeting at Woodmore Elementary on Sunday afternoon.
Right now, Toledo firefighters are investigating a fire at a building in central Toledo. Flames broke out just a couple of hours ago. This is on Nebraska Avenue at Junction. We are told the building is vacant. It's believed some sort of electrical malfunction caused that fire. It is one of the hidden dangers of the job, firefighters diagnosed with cancer. It can also be a huge financial burden. Tim Miller has more now on some help that could be on the way. Tim?
Yeah, Jerry, some people think about firefighters running into burning buildings as really the only danger they face. But if you talk to them, they'll tell you cancer is also a big concern. The Ohio Association of Professional Firefighters is pushing for Senate Bill 27 to be passed. Their spokesperson told me firefighters are exposed to 12 different cancers at a much higher rate than the rest of us. Cancers like mesothelioma, lung cancer, brain cancer, cancer of the rectum, bladder, stomach, skin, and prostate, and leukemia and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. They breathe in diesel fumes from their rigs, but it's mostly about the toxins burning in the fires they are putting out on a daily basis. In professional full-time firefighters with at least 3 years of duty, Senate Bill 27 would treat cancer the same as any other workplace injury. It could help pay medical bills or offset the price of missed days of work.
Through the course of what firefighters do, we come in contact with a toxic soup of chemicals and carcinogens in the smoke of every house fire. Not only are we breathing it in and getting the lung cancers, but it stays on our skin and is absorbed through our skin. So a lot of the filtering organs, we're developing cancer at a greater rate than the general public.
And Senate Bill 27 right now is in the state Senate Insurance Committee. We're told a vote by the legislatures expected sometime after the Ohio primary. We did talk to City of Toledo and Oregon fire officials today. They were not ready yet to comment on this bill. Reporting live, Tim Miller, WTOL 11.
All right, Tim, thanks so much for that information. After 340 days in space, he is back, but all that time had to take a toll, right?
Well, coming up, we're going to find out what's next for Scott Kelly and how his mission might lead to NASA sending an astronaut to Mars.
And later, the FDA issues a serious warning about a birth control device that could have devastating side effects. Plus,
coming up, how the digital age is promoting progress in the Flag City.